What's up, everybody? Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to the BitLab Academy daily live streams we do straight from the BitLab Academy studios here in Atlanta, Georgia. Sometimes I'm here, sometimes I'm back in my home office in New York, but we're always bringing you content every day, Monday through Friday, and we're going to be bringing you more content very soon. We're also working on an incredible amount of great updates that are coming to BitLab Academy. So everybody in chat, please give me a thumbs up, give me an emoji, give me your favorite coins. Let me know that everything's working well. Let me know everything's sounding good, looking good, feeling good. And we're here. We're building a community. This is all about positive encouragement, positive empowerment, and getting the data we need, bridging that gap from beginner to pro. So I'm not going to spend so much time on intros anymore. I'm going to try and get this straight into letting everybody know what's going on in the market, and then also breaking down some lessons within that, throwing that rope back to the beginners so we can help bring everybody along. So again, my name is Kelly Kellam. It is wonderful to see you all. Wonderful to be here with you. I appreciate the community that we're building. Big love and success to everybody. That's what we're working on here. So please, if this is your first time, welcome to the community. We try to keep it positive. If you're going to be a troll, I'd rather not have you here. If you have constructive criticism, offer it. We'd love to hear it. Let's encourage and build people up here. And let's grow together. Let's do this. So if this is your first time being here, please hit that like button. Hit that subscribe, ting the bell. Let's grow this together. We got a lot to dive into today. So what the heck is going on with the market? Well, today we are covering, it is January 26, 2023. And whether you're watching this live or in the future, I really try to make every attempt to take the information and the data of what's going on in the markets right now and figure out how we can bring some understanding to how to interact with that, and even breaking out a little bit of like a lesson, 8 to 10 minute lesson within the middle of this, so we can really understand what's happening. So again, my name is Kelly Kellam. Please follow me on my Twitter. Follow all these socials you see down here for Academy BitLab. If you're watching on Hit Network, shout out to you there. Please come over here to the youtube.com/@BitLab Academy. Follow us here as well. And let's go ahead and jump into the markets. Before we do that, I just want to shout out to everybody in the chat. I'm already seeing a huge number of people that are regulars. We started this basically a week and a half ago, and we're already rocking and rolling. We're having some great viewership. People are also, we see the data. People are watching all the way through, which means people are interested. So I really welcome anybody's thoughts, feedback. If you have sticking points, I want to encourage you to throw those sticking points in the chat here. Do hashtag sticking point. If you're watching at a later time or on another stream, put it in the comments down below. I really try to make every attempt to go through these, me and some of our other staff here, so we can make a note of some of the things maybe we're not even thinking about hitting or touching on or explaining deeper. So throw those in there. Let us know what you're feeling, what you're fearing, where your successes are, things that have resonated with you that we're talking about here on the channel, so that we can focus this for you. This is for you all. This isn't so I can watch myself back on video, watch myself talking to a camera. That's not what this is about. This is about using our experience here at the Hit Network, BitBoy Crypto, BitLab Academy. It's using all of our experience and a number of other, I have some rock star guests that'll be coming on this stream as well that as are in the BitLab Academy, so we can share our experiences with you so that you can benefit from not having those losses and those stupid mistakes that all of us have made early on. We're trying to save you that heartache and headache. So, man, I'm just feeling good today. The markets, up above 20. We're so excited for it to get to 20, and now it's, pushing in the 23 area, finding some support. We're seeing some historical signals. So let's go ahead and jump into these charts. Alrighty. I forgot, I got this new stream deck here, which is finally working, so I don't have to manually select the different scenes that are going on over here. So let's see if it actually works. All right, so here we are in the screen. What do we always do, everybody? Macro, midterm, micro. So before we dive into that, I just do want to shout out, make sure you're following the correct BitLab Twitter page, which is @AcademyBitLab. Also, come over here and follow my Twitter, which is @Kelly Kellam, which is KELLYKELLAM. So many people misspell this. There's a lot of fake accounts out there. It's the only reason why I point this out. I share a great deal of stuff here, and we're going to reference this chart here a lot. If this is your first stream, you'll understand why I reference this a lot, because this is really the roadmap to every every interaction you have with the market for investments and trades. So make sure you come and check out bitlabacademy.com. And if you haven't yet, sign up for the newsletter, which is on this pop-up in this box right here. Sign up for the newsletter and join this, because we post stuff weekly, different things, what's going on in the market, some charts, some breaking down some of our BitLab indicators, as well as other signals in the market. But more so than that, you can see right here, there's a free lifetime membership to Academy courses. We're doing 5 winners that will be announced tomorrow. So get in here and sign up for this. And you're basically just be getting free alpha, and you're being entered to win these free lifetime memberships to the Academy courses. In addition to that, you can also check out the stuff with the indicators here on BitLab Academy. Over in the indicator section, we have all the information here, and if you want to learn more about it, you can come here and watch this trading tutorial or the trading suite tutorial. But let's go ahead and jump into what's going on in the market. So before we do that, I just do want to come back right here to everybody and say, how are you doing? How are you feeling? I want to throw in a poll here, but I'm not going to do it because it's going to take away my time from interacting with you all and getting this going. Put in put in 2 macro caps, being the coins that are in the top 20, and put in 1 micro cap of something that you've been looking at. And I'm gonna scroll back here in a little bit, and we're gonna go through a number of different coins here today. We're gonna be looking at all these signals, which coins are lining up to ride this bullish wave that Bitcoin is on right now, which ones are actually maybe looking for a bit more of a pullback or a hesitation. So go ahead and throw all those in here, and shout out to everybody here in chat. A mellow fellow, we were talking last night. I'm going to get back to you more. Just so much to do on a daily basis. Alexandra G, Matt C, my boy, always so supportive, great friend Matt C, Crimson Caravan, we got Mitch Shaw, Crypto Savage. We got so many people here. I remember yesterday too. Newer JK, Jason Rohde, Matt Lane, Jeanette. Man, we got so many people in here. Elliot Locke was in here first, but he had to bounce off, and he had a great saying. He said, I got to go mine some fiat so I can acquire some more crypto. So shout out to anybody. Not everybody is exactly where they want to be making it yet, but every step of the way, every day, you have an opportunity to improve your life. And you do that not only through investing and finding those good entries on crypto, but we got to remember, get out there, hug a family member, hug a friend, be polite to a stranger, be kind. All these things can help improve our state of mind, our well-being. And the better we are in our mind and the better we feel centered in our body, the better you're also going to interact with these charts. Because then you're not going to be so fearful and FOMO trying to chase some sort of success in this financial world, making up for this lack of love and connection in your everyday life. We need to balance it. We need all those pillars: life, love, wealth, health, and happiness. We need all of them, baby. So let's do this. If you can't tell, I'm vibing today, but we're going to jump back into it. So we see everybody still talks about gold. Well, in the last decade, gold's up 12%. Well, I'm sorry for you if gold is your only asset of investment, because clearly you're not looking at data that supports what good fundamental development is and what the long-term sort of approach is going to be going into the future. We see Bitcoin is up 132,000%. And we got to remember, this doesn't mean that we're going to get another 132,000, but it does mean you look at the adoption curve of where Bitcoin is in terms of the number of people that are using Bitcoin and the number of people that are still in the world that have never even heard of it. There's a huge adoption curve, so there's still plenty of room to grow here. Now, there was another tweet I wanted to pull up. Let me actually pull it up here. I believe I don't have it on here, but essentially Goldman Sachs, I believe it was Goldman Sachs, just listed Bitcoin as the best performing asset. And of course it is, but to finally get a nod from one of these major banking conglomerates, one of these major forces in the global financial landscape that's now acknowledging the data that's there, which means these small steps start giving validity to patient or fearful investors or people that are more traditional asset minded, because they're starting to see this data spill over into these traditional asset financial reports. So every one of these things is a domino that's falling falling into positive growth and adoption and awareness for Bitcoin and crypto. So I just wanted to point this out just here right at the start of the show. And what we want to do today is we want to discuss the thumbnail and the title of this stream, which is, are the Bulls set for liftoff? Is it looking like the rockets on the launch pad? We got the fuel in the engines, but if anybody's ever watched any of the SpaceX missions, or when NASA used to do a lot of missions, you could have everything being planned for years, decades. Everybody, all the viewers watching, you got the rocket on the launch pad, they're pulling away the fuel vehicles, everything's, and then they scrap it last minute. Well, same thing can happen with Bitcoin. So it's very important that we practice risk management and just general awareness and digging into the fundamental and technical data that's available to us. So we're not investing and trading and just running on hopium because it's been such a long bear market. It has to go up now because all the timelines say that. So all in and on leverage, and then tomorrow you have no money, and then the day after you have no money is when the market launches off. Believe me, I've been there. I told the story yesterday on another stream I was on, in which I got really good at trading, or so I thought. I forgot my humility. You've got to be a humble investor and a humble trader, or the market will eat you alive. I thought I was a good trader because I was trading in an uptrend. And I'd done maybe 80 trades. I'm talking 80 trades total in my life. And somehow about 75 out of those 80 were all, profitable trades. And I got myself up to about $70,000. And within a matter, basically I decided, you know what? I'm going to be a millionaire next week because I'm going to start leverage trading because I'm such a good trader. And this is, thank God, years ago. But I did that. And within, under a week, it was about 3 days, I went from $70,000, first time I ever had $70,000 in my life, to having about $2,500 left out of that. Because I was an idiot, I wasn't humble, and I wasn't practicing risk management. And although the price went exactly where I thought it was going to go, but I didn't account for the market eating me alive, which means it wicked down, liquidated the majority of my position, and then went the exact direction I went. So we're going to talk about that today and how you could take advantage of everything going on in this market so that you can be a profitable trader. Shout out, I see again, Investing Bros. I was on their stream yesterday. Definitely check them out. Really great guys. We basically started in crypto on YouTube together years ago. They got their own channel now, which is wonderful. But we're going to jump right back into these charts. We're going to look at some of the data points, and then we're going to figure out how we can interact with that and make the smart trade decisions. This mic keeps dancing away from me. I must be yelling at it. So shout out to everybody here in chat. Please do make sure to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, ting that bell. Let's keep this going. All right, so what do we want to look at? Well, of course, everybody's talking about the 4-year cycle, okay, which is a very, very pervasive thing. Pervasive is the wrong word. In which the matter of Bitcoin is engineered. Bitcoin runs on a 4-year cycle because there's this thing called a halvening. And remember, we have to always throw this back to the beginners that might be in chat. So just be patient with me for about 30 seconds. There's a halvening, and it has to do with the mining processing, and there's different miners out there which basically are competing to process the block transactions, and they do it by solving a massive, an incredibly difficult algorithmic sort of problem. And so there's all these different computers that are securing the network, and whoever wins by processing that transaction gets a mining reward, and it's halved every 4 years, roughly every 4 years. And so we have this sort of fixed understanding of what the supply is going to be for Bitcoin. Due to that, when we jump into the charts, we can see that there's a regular sort of time frame that everything runs on here. And now, if I come in here, I think I even have an indicator, Bitcoin halving past dates. So we can go like this, and we can see. Let's go ahead and go to auto. We could see. Look at this fixed sort of framework for how the Bitcoin market is operating. So if we come here to this drawing tool, we can see right here that there was a bit of a pump sideways, and then we have basically a parabola that has a correction within. So this has a bit of a pump, sideways, and then some choppiness all the way up, into this parabola up. Same thing happens here. This was 2013. This was 2016 into 2017. This is when I thought I was a god trader, but I was also not realizing that I was trading in an uptrend, and it's really hard on spot as well. It's really hard to lose money trading spot in a parabolic uptrend unless you're trying to lose money. Now, in this region here, we can see that these red lines are where the halving dates, the previous halving dates have been. And we can see a push up, sideways. Of course, we had a washout here, which was a pandemic sort of where all markets, global markets, pull back. But this was a V-shaped recovery, meaning price went down very quick and rebounded just as fast. This is a common economic term thinking about markets. And then we have this sideways action with, push up and a little bit of choppiness at the top. Similarly, what we're doing here, what we're looking at is the time frame of what's happening with roughly about where we are in the 4-year cycle. We can see I don't want to do price range. I want to do date range. We go like this. This is 200 bars. So let's go ahead and do the same thing. We're just going to map this out so we can understand about right there. And this lines up about when everybody is assuming, because it's not fixed on an actual 4-year cycle. It has to do with the number of blocks and how many blocks are transacted, which is their 10-minute block times, is roughly about 4 years. It's really more like 3 years and 11 months-ish, 10 to 11 months. So this block of time that we're looking at right here, anywhere in here is going to be, it's actually going to be a little bit smaller than that. From March through April, the block is going to be this sort of halving is going to be somewhere right here. So if we look historically at the downtrend that we have in price, and with the downtrend we have in price following, about a third of the way after the halving. And why is this going up? Well, now all of a sudden we know supply is now reduced by half. The amount of inflation coming in is reduced by half. And if we think about this, it's not so hard to understand, because think about what's happening right now in the global economy, especially in the US. Inflation, as we have inflation which comes from all this money printing, which is flooding the market, it's diluting the value of the dollar. So I had way too much chocolate milk this morning. All right, it was devaluing the value of the dollar. And so this is the inverse of that, showing that there's less supply coming into the market. And what happens afterwards is there's less supply, and it's on this sort of fixed cycle, seemingly fixed cycle, that we get these large bullish pumps about a third of the way after, from when the halving happens onward and upward. So we still have a little bit of work to do here, because if we think about this period right here, this last 25%, here, we did have a downward price action that came up. Of course, this is harder to really, I don't want to say consider, but to take into full account, because this is very early in Bitcoin's life cycle. So there wasn't a lot of data. There wasn't a lot of belief in the system. So when we come over here to this cycle, which is 2016, we did see kind of a push up into an expectation, a hopium into that bullish sort of halving, and then a sell-off. Okay. As you mature in this market, you realize you don't need to capitulate every time there's a sell-off, especially understanding where you're at in the 4-year cycle. Because if there's a sell-off here, I'm looking right around the halving. I'm looking, how do I buy more? Because this sell-off is about to launch off. Similarly, right here, right after, we get this large bullish parabolic run up, right? And now similarly, same thing happened here. We had a sell-off right into the halving. It was a push-up, sell-off. And so what we want to watch here is more locally what's going on. So what do? Every time we come to the charts, we look at all the data, and we always want to make sure we are looking at this market cycle trading cheat sheet. We want to look at the macro, the midterm, and the micro, or the local, as some people call it, the smaller time frames. Anything under 4 hours, 2 hours, 1 hour, 24 minutes. The smaller you get, the more noise on the chart you're going to get, and the more often this market cycle is going to play, because you can have a macro downtrend with a mid-turned uptrend with a micro sort of, multiple up and down trends within that. And so using this market cycle cheat sheet, we can figure out exactly how to understand what's going on. So if we're looking right now, looking at the macro, we've had this massive, we've talked about this several days in a row now, but we've had this massive downtrend that we look like we've broken out of. But what does the data say? Well, let's go through some of the data points. Alrighty. Well, if you haven't followed this gentleman, you should definitely follow this guy. He's got some great charts, Trader Tardigrade. But this is very similar to what I was just talking about. We have the downtrend with this sort of flush out here. And in addition to this flush out, we can see a push up, breakdown. So what I'm really looking at here is this thing on the left on each one of these. This is a volume profile, which basically shows you how much volume was traded at certain levels. So at this price level, this small amount of volume was traded. At this price level, because there's a lot of touch points in this area and the price spent a lot of time there, we see this node here, this volume node. It's the largest one. So we call this the point of control, or the POC. And this basically shows, it's a good indication of where there's a lot of interest in the chart, which could act as a strong support, which we can see even right here, right at this POC. It's been support, but it's also been resistance. And then once you break this POC, this point of control, this high volume node, it gives you a lot of confidence in the move that's going above it. So we're going to continue on, look at a couple other charts here. But what we want to do, and this, I've pointed this out multiple times, and this has to do with this sort of this market cycle cheat sheet. If we are here and we have broken out, and we want to essentially do this, which means break through resistance, flip it, find it as support, and then continue past this local high. The same thing can be said with this right here. This is, finding resistance, flipping it to support, maybe even twice. It's not only going to happen one time. Sometimes it doesn't even happen, but this is the most conviction you can find when looking at these charts. So what we want to do is here, we're at the macro. Let's go down to the daily. Okay, this is clearly pushed out. Now let's kind of go down to the 4 hour. And what I want to do is I want to bring up some simple sort of metrics, and we're gonna do MACD, moving average convergence divergence. That's right. I had all these indicators up. Let me just go here. Boom. If you haven't watched the BitLab Academy, charting live stream yet, you should definitely come and watch this this video. I go through some really great tips and tricks on how to use TradingView, setting up templates on your your charts, having different indicators already set to where you can just go through them very quickly. And also, all these early videos are all meant to be great foundational videos. So come check these out on the BitLab Academy YouTube here under live or under playlists in the BitLab live streams. But so we're gonna get back out of that. I just wanted to throw that back to you all. So we can see this. I just clicked on my my template there. Now we want to go to the macro, and we want to see, zooming out here on so what we can see here is, I'm going to zoom in on just the MACD here. So although this was still continuing down, we've got this bullish cross on the weekly MACD, which is showing a massive bullish divergence of this moving up while this price action was moving down. We've also got this bullish divergence, meaning the pressure is going increasing bullishly while the price action is going bearish. And we've already talked about this a number of times. You guys, if you're not sure about this, watch some of the streams I did the last few days, because we've broken this down. And then what I really like to see right here with this move that gives me confidence that this move had authority, that it was a true move, is the stochastics here on the bottom. You can see this move right here, this strong sort of bullish divergence on the stochastics. This move was quite exaggerated as compared to this, which was very flat. And then as soon as this sort of crossed back over this red line, it's also in line just ahead of when this price breakout happened here. So I'm giving this bullish push a bit of authority here. I'm giving it, I agree with the push. I agree with what's happening here. So now let's zoom in on the smaller time frame and see if it's actually ready for liftoff. Because for people that think that this was liftoff, don't understand markets. This is not liftoff. This is somebody putting the key in the ignition. Because, why do I say that? Because on the macro, you have to understand your main trend first. So our main trend is a downtrend. And on the midterm, let's go down to the 3-day or the daily. The midterm, the smaller time frame, this is a bullish move, yes, but it's within the context of a bearish framework, which is the macro trend. So what we're trying to establish now when we ask bulls set for liftoff, question mark, this is going to be the gatekeeper of what's happening for the most part in the broader crypto market as well. So even if you only trade alts, it's critical that you understand what's happening with Bitcoin so you can understand where the risk on, risk off mentality that may be coming into essentially liquidity or no liquidity for your altcoin projects that you are interested in. So this bullish move on the midterm, now we need to understand, we need to have more resolution, which means go to the local, go down to smaller time frames, because you get to see each one of these candles, and each one of these candles is representative of the time frame that you have up here on the left. For all you newcomers, every one of these candles, which is these colored bars, this bar right here is representative of 1 day. So what we want to do is go to the local, smaller time frame. Let's go down to the 4 hour. And so now each one of these bars is worth only 4 hours of time. And so we get more resolution, and we could see if the momentum is waning or growing. And so when we come here back to our traditional indicators, we can see, we saw that there's a massive bullish sort of divergence on the macro, which led to that push. But what I'm immediately seeing right now, and this is first look, because I don't normally look at the traditional indicators. I use our BitLab trading suite indicators, which I'll go over here in a bit as well. So thank you, Alexander G, for throwing in that link in there. I really appreciate it. And for everybody, I do want to shout out as well, on the BitLab Academy website, we do have, you can sign up for courses, which we go into detail on everything. I mean, they're all very broken down videos, and we have so much new stuff coming there. But there's also an amazing Discord that you have trade signals, community support. I mean, there's so much, not only the courses, but you get the Discord as well. But the reason I want to shout that out is because there is, in the description below, there is the Discord link that you can also sign up for. There's a free area there as well with a lot of information and community that you can be a part of. Of course, there's a lot more available once you become a member of BitLab Academy, whether it's the courses or the indicators. There's more detailed information. You can go a lot deeper. So, but definitely check out the BitLab Discord. It's in the description below. So we were talking about the macro bullish divergence that led to this sort of bullish move. But zooming in, getting this deeper resolution, we can see on the 4 hour chart, we see, what are we seeing here? We're seeing higher highs, so higher highs here, but on the indicators, on the stochastics, I'm seeing lower highs, okay? On MACD, I'm seeing lower highs. So this is giving me a little bit of pause about not saying that this is absolutely going to fail, but what this is telling me, what this data is signifying to me. We also see this bearish divergence also on the RSI. It's letting me know that the fuel that was put into this rocket right here, the fuel has been spent. The fuel has been spent, and while we're getting price moves to the upside still, there's less fuel in this rocket, which means it's not going to be able to fly as fast, it's not going to be able to fly as far, and it may, it may sort of lose fuel in midair, which what happens, you hit an apex, and then that means that the rocket with no more fuel starts to come over like this. And the question's going to be, the question we're looking to identify here is, if the bullish fuel is spent, when we get a small pullback that a lot of, especially institutional and smart money, is looking for, are bulls going to come in and fill up the engines so we can launch off? Or as this is finding its apex and rolling over, are bears fueling the engine here to take this fight and break down and go further down? So that's what we're trying to identify with every market move. And you do that through utilizing these various technical signals that we can look at here on look at here on the charts. Now, looking at the same move, I want to bring this same time frame. I want to bring it up with the BitLab market intelligence, the hidden volume, the significant movement. I'm actually going to turn this relative volatility off. But what we can see here, for those that have never seen this, these indicators, these are indicators that me, Frankie Candles, and an incredible indicator developer basically built, utilizing all the, the MACD, the RSI, money flow, showing when things are overheated, overbought, oversold, and basically aggregating all that data, volume, so we can see the health of this market the same way massive institutional hedge fund traders see it, the stuff that gives them the signal so they make the big money. And so what we're seeing here, each one of these flags that's at the top is identifying bearish divergences. Each one of these flags at the bottom is identifying bullish divergences. And I can actually bring this up, and it's on shorthand right now, but we can see exactly what these divergences are. So we can see this is RSI bullish divergence. We got the relative extremist. So what we're looking at right here is this was looking overheated in the middle of this move, and this is what this reg wave signifies, and we end up seeing it going sideways here, which also corresponds with this gray area. Now, what we're at here, with price level right at, we're holding right about the $23,000 level, which is phenomenal. It is incredible. So what we're seeing here is we're seeing a lot of choppiness. We're seeing bearish divergence, bullish divergence. So there's a little bit of indecision in the market. And I can tell you right now, one of the things we have to remember to do is, it is excellent. Jesse Olson, who is an incredible trader, he looks at charts. He's like a sniper on the charts, and this he focuses so predominantly on the charts. But I do want to expand everybody's awareness. Because whether or not he knows it, even though he's trading on the charts, he's on crypto Twitter on the time. He's surrounded by incredible investors and traders himself. So he doesn't need to be deeply following the news and what's going on with all that, because he's aware of it by osmosis, by all the things. Especially if you're a newer trader, a newer investor, newer in these markets, then you need to get on crypto Twitter. You need to, follow myself, follow BitLab Academy. I'll even share a list of some people that you can follow, that great minds, because there's stuff like right now, we're seeing indecision in the markets. Show me the charts, I'll tell you the news. A lot of people say that. Well, what this is signifying to me, this is also reminiscent of what's happening right now with what's going on with inflation, Fed rate hikes, all this sort of stuff. So the CPI numbers came out, which is a core price index, and the PCE, personal consumption expenditures, which is for individuals. We've had all these different the inflation numbers have come out recently. And so what happens is the government needs to take that data, and once they take that data, they've got to go to, get all the different members of the Fed and different from the different states, and then also the head of the Fed, the chairman of the Fed, Jerome Powell, and they have to determine what the inflation, what the rate hike's going to be, because they're trying to use rate hikes to tamper inflation and also basically let the market not let the inflation not run away. To prevent, massive catastrophe in, especially in the U.S. Markets, because we currently are still the global reserve currency. So what does this all mean? A lot of blah, 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 blah. Markets showing indecision. Well, why are these markets showing indecision? As I was just talking about with the Fed rates, on February 1st, next week, we have basically a fairly priced in Fed rate hike of about 25%, 0.2, not 25%. That would be ridiculous. The markets would die if that were to happen. 0.25, which is 25 basis points, meaning 0.25%. And so the question here is going to be, how will the markets respond? And in addition to that, is it actually going to be 0.25%? They very well could still come in, do a higher percentage rate from that, and then also come in with a very dovish, meaning very soft language afterwards. They also could do no rate hike at all, which the markets would probably go straight to liftoff there. But what we're seeing right now is a bit of a holding pattern. We had a small pullback. and then push up and then sideways action. So what we're looking at here, we want to identify whether or not we want to add to our, if you're shorting the market, if you want to add to those positions, or if you're looking for lower prices for entries for longs. I'm of the mindset that we are somewhere in this region here fighting with setting this massive downtrend of resistance into support. So that's what I'm looking at right now. I think the macro is showing that we are set for liftoff, and we're going to go back through a couple of those key signals that I brought up yesterday and some other ones we haven't brought up yet, and that's the MVRV score. This is incredibly powerful metric to look at. Very simple, and you can come to lookintobitcoin.com, come up here to the chart section, and you can kind of go through these different charts. And I really recommend to everybody to go through these and just try to understand them. And if you don't, I'm going to be breaking all those down here. We also have a whole course on on-chain data within BitLab Academy that I'm actually filming here this week. But you can also scroll down here. One of the best education systems you ever have access to always in your life is your mind and your curiosity. Be curious. Get out there. If you don't know something, open up Google and search for it. Look at different videos. Ask a friend. Ask for help. But spend the time. Be diligent. That will be your best asset in the crypto markets is curiosity, ambition, and action. Having action, like moving forward, setting that plan and moving ahead with it. So let's jump back into this. We got the MVRV score, which is the market value to realized value. Realized value being the average price of every Bitcoin, the last average from the price it was the last time it moved. When the price is below it, it's essentially market bottom accumulation territories. So anytime this black line is below this blue line on the MVRV score, or as you can see here in this green area, this is the same sort of consideration. When the price is below this blue line, that's when you see this in the green. That's a great, we're set up historically for being an accumulation meaning to accumulate, to start stacking in your positions. I'm not saying that means accumulate doesn't mean throw all your coins, every token you have in on a 20x leverage. That's not accumulation. That's stupid. That's how I lost $70,000 because I was an idiot. And that's what you're not an idiot because you're watching the stream, learning from my mistakes. Luckily, I've dug myself far out of that hole, and I've built a life around trading, investing, sharing my thoughts with you all. That's what this is about. It's community. So don't be an idiot like me. Don't be a dum-dum. Alrighty. So now let's look at the next signal here. Now we're looking at the hash ribbons. We talk so much about the 4-year halving cycle, right? Well, this is somewhat tied to that as well because we're talking about the mining. We're talking about people that are within the market that make a living securing the network, which is what mining is. And they receive rewards for every block that they compete to mine, and they win basically, I don't want to call it a contract, but they win, they process that transaction. So what this is measuring, these hash ribbons, and again, this is on lookintobitcoin.com. This is free. This is free for you all. I'm sharing you free alpha right now. You don't have to go and spend all the money on the other tools. While they're great, they're way more advanced, especially if you're a beginner. Start with these free services, master this, and then get the paid services. But come down here if you don't understand it, read about it. The hash is basically, it's measuring the power, the competitive power on network of how many people are trying to mine, how much power is securing the network. So the higher the hash, the more secure the network. And we can also see when basically miners are essentially not profitable, or on this, you don't necessarily see that, but you see them shutting off their systems. And these are essentially moving averages. And we can see anytime this blue line crosses back above this this purple line, which you can see right here at the bottom. And what do I say? I didn't say it today because I was hoping you were doing it. Every time you pull up a chart, I don't care if it's a TradingView chart or an on-chain data chart, be humble. Take a look at all of it like you've never seen it before. What data is on the left? What data is on the right? What data is on the chart? What data is on the bottom? And your key that identifies what the hell you're looking at. You can't pull any data from this and make insights if you don't understand what it is you're looking at. But what we want to do is we want to draw correlations with what's going on this chart with what's going on with price. Every time this blue line crosses back above the purple line, start of this massive bull trend. Now, this was a bit choppy here. Of course, this was a pandemic. So let's look back here. This market crashed. This is when it crashed in April 2021. And then everybody thought it was going all the way down and it rebounded. Well, look at this. Coincided also with this blue line crossing above. This is on the hash ribbons indicator, crossing above this purple line. Similarly, this has happened quite early here, which is a bit of a false signal. But this is also coinciding with a lot of just noise in the market from the FTX collapse, the insolvencies, BlockFi, Voyager, Celsius. And so there's a lot of noise in the market. So the fact that if you really think about how much detriment came to the market, how much noise, how much just, I'm not going to say it. I don't want to bleep myself out here. Just bad actors in the space. And the market's actually held relatively sideways for a good period of time. If we look at this, on the 3-day, all this, just noise here. I think this is when the FTX collapse happened. I'm going to mute that. This is the FTX collapse here. But all of this, this is incredibly bullish for how strong the market held through all that. So now we're getting this blue crossing above the purple again, and all of this. A lot of the bad actors have been washed out of the space. The short-term holders, the people that are not convicted within the space have sold. And then we look at here at the Puel multiple, which is has a lot more to do with miners. And look at this. Anytime we've come down here in this green section here, especially when we came out, tested, and rocketed off, bull market. Came out, tested, bull market. Touched, rocketed out, bull market. Touched, boom, bull market. We're doing the same thing here. We spent quite a bit of time this time in this sort of this green accumulation zone as it pertains to the miner activity. But this is the chart I really want you to watch. This chart, not enough people look at this chart. The RHODL, the RODL. Everybody calls it something different, R-HODL, whatever. This is a realized HODL ratio. This is basically measuring the ratio between short-term holders and long-term holders. It's a ratio when this is very high, when this orange line is very high, it's saying there's a disproportionate large amount of people that have been holding for less than 1 week, meaning that they just picked up a coin, which means that coin sold, which means now there's short-term holders, and there's way more short-term holders than long-term holders. And you could tell this coincides also with hype cycles, when there's people buying at tops. You know what? People buying at tops are not making smart financial decisions. They're not buying because the data is present that says this is a good buy. They're buying because they're buying hype from when Jim Cramer finally gets smart and says to buy again. He'll always say to buy at the top and, you should sell at the bottom. These traditional minded people, these are not the people you need to understand to take data from when thinking about investing in crypto. But when we see this orange line come down here, which is the R-HODL, the RODL ratio, this is saying that there's a disproportionate and overwhelmingly more amount of long-term holders, meaning the people that are 1 to 2 year or more holders, and there's not very many 1 week holders, meaning this is the selling pressure. There's people still selling. There's people still selling. There's nobody left to sell. There's nobody left to sell. There's nobody left to sell. That's what we're seeing. And that's why I say we have these signs that we're ready for liftoff. That does not mean that we're going to go straight line. We very well could push up even to this 30,000 level and come back down to 20,000. Test this as support, previous all-time high, previous levels, and then rock it up. Whatever it is, we are primed. And so this entire zone that I'm looking at on the charts, this entire zone, all of it for my trading strategy, all of this is well within the accumulation zone. I mean, even if we break down lower, but I'm looking for longs here. I'm not trying to, scalp trade long, short. No, because there's no telling when the market starts ripping, when the market starts ripping and we get these kind of candles, I'm not going short from there. Because this is basically, I'm looking for the entry, the start of that massive bull run. So I'm finding my entries as price pushes up and then pulls back. But I'm just going to shout out to everybody. How's everybody doing? Everybody's feeling in chat. We're rocking and rolling here. We're about to do a bunch of different altcoins. We're going to do some, quick little teachable moments, 2-minute technicals. I'm going to try to do I'm going to try and do 5 altcoins. So throw them back in here. Throw in what you got. And when I start seeing those populate, I'm going to try and do quite a few of those. We're going to do naked chart, 2-minute technical, see what's going on, if there's a bullish narrative, bearish narrative, and what we can do so we can see exactly how you can quickly map out a chart and find where your trade targets are, whether they're take profits or trade entries. This is not financial advice. This is strategy. This is concept. This is how we approach the markets and how you can use all this for your own strategies. So if this is your first time, I see a lot of people, concurrent viewers, welcome to the stream. My name is Kelly Kellam. Thank you for being here. Please follow all these socials down below here, whether you're watching here on BitLab Academy or on Hit Network or even on BitBoy Crypto. I think some of these videos will be streaming. Let's keep this going. Now we're going to do some technicals. So let's jump into the charts. Let's see. We got first one I see is VET. So let's do VET. All right, it's going to come over here. We're going to do VET. Let's go to Binance USDT. I'm going to go off the indicators. All right, first thing we're going to do, macro, midterm, micro. So let's do some key levels here. Okay, I like to use quick keys. So follow along quick. You guys can master your charts. And remember, check out that YouTube stream that I did that breaks down all the quick keys. I think I'm going to do another version of it, very short, so people can do this quick. So option on Mac or alt on PC, but it's option J, gives a horizontal ray. Option J, I'm just marking the tops here. Price action tops gives me an easy sort of map. Now here I'm going to, because there's a lot of price interactivity here, I'm going to put a rectangle box. This is also, I'm going to do option J. I'm going to do a low here and a low here. What I'm doing is just quickly mapping out key levels. This is also key. Look at that. This is option J. This is resistance, support, support, support. A little bit of interactivity there. So now what we're going to do option or alt if you're on PC T. That gives me the trend line signal. Now I like to do my resistances in red. Let's go ahead and do that. Now we can see, I can already see a macro downtrend similar to what's going on Bitcoin. Let's go ahead and it's going to be like that. I'm just going to leave this red just so we can move through this quickly. Now we're going to come up to I'm going to go from this top here. I'm going to do option or alt if you're on PC F. That gives me the Fibonacci. I'm going to pull that from this local top or this macro top-ish. And I'm going to come down to this bottom here and look at this. This sort of, this golden pocket, we can go all the way up to 13 cents. But what we're looking at right now is more locally. So we're going to zoom in here. We're going to go from this top here, option F for Fibonacci. We're going to bring this down here. So we can see this line right here. This line, I'm just going to mark it again and make it, I'm going to make this gold, this line, because it's right in the golden pocket. Right in the golden pocket of this move here. See this? This is a golden pocket, 0.618, 0.65. So this is a key target right here. But first we need to overcome this level right here. So what I'm seeing on VET, is, let's come down to the brush. I'm seeing on VET, we need to come, let's go to, the BitLab indicators. Okay, we have some bearish volume divergence right here, which is going to be a little bit of down pressure. And then look at this, MACD, RSI, stochastics, momentum, money flow. We have 5 bearish divergences right here. And the volatility index, RVGI, is looking like it's trying to roll over. And there's a little bit of a gray area here on significant movement. In addition to that, this is what I'm really seeing, this relative extrema. Here, this is all these indicators, by the way, you can find here on bitlabacademy.com. Go to indicators right here. And we actually even have a discount on everything on BitLab right now. Bullish 15 for 15% off. You can use that. And that's these indicators. We can see this relative extrema. When these bars are sticking out of this cloud, you can see this yellowish cloud. These bars sticking out of the cloud, it's like a rubber band or a slingshot saying, you've gone too far, you need to cool off or actually pull back. And so what I'm seeing right now with VeChain, and this is where we get interesting sort of data. Bitcoin's looking bullish, but it's looking like it's a bit on the holding pattern. With VeChain, I can see, barring some sort of huge push in the market, I think it's likely that because of these signals, and this is actually on the 3-day. Let's actually zoom down. Let's go to the 2-hour. On the 2-hour, we're a little overheated, as we saw here. We've gone sideways. We had RSI bearish divergence, but this right here, significant movement. When it's red, it's showing a local trend top, and right when that flash, look, we got a little bit of a pullback. And the volatility is looking like it's rolling over. So VeChain, I'm looking for a little bit of a pullback, but everything right now is, I would say, is a bit of a holding pattern. There's going to be choppiness through February 1st next week. We can also go down to the 24-minute time frame, and we can see, even on the 24-minute time frame, this was a little overheated coming up, and then it went sideways and it's starting to pull back. We have the bearish MACD, bearish RSI divergence. It looks like momentum we had a bearish engulfing candle here, and we're trying to find support on this EMA ribbon right here, but we're seeing some weakness, and there is a bit of the significant movement, BitLab significant movement, which is all these indicators are part of that indicator stack, the trading suite. But this is showing a little bit of local top. Now we see Algo. Okay, let's do Algo. Algo is one of my recent purchases as well. I've been stacking up on that, and I'm going to do it on Coinbase just because a lot of people use Coinbase here in the States. So I'm going to turn off market intelligence. So what do? Let's go ahead and remove all drawings. We're going to do. I'm not going to do the top of this wick. I'm going to do this is more realistic. Option J for a bar. I'm going to do Option J for a horizontal ray again. This Option J, look at this Option J. You wonder why price is stalled. It's hitting previous price action lows. Okay, now this is a bit of a zone too. Look at that resistance, resistance, support, support, resistance. It's amazing how these things map out. Now we're going to do a trend line. Option T for a quick key to do trend line. I like to just put the line on the screen first and then see where we can find the most touch points. So this was a bit, this is kind of a wonky sort of, there we go. A lot of touches there. I think there was another one when I was doing my other chart the other day, just like this. Yeah. So there we go. We got, some support, some resistance. There's a lot of sort of choppiness here within Algorand. So I'm going to zoom in here. Now we need to do option. I'm going to do it from here. Option F for Fibonacci. And then we got this. We got our golden pocket, which on this, rather than having all the lines, now that we have a golden pocket, we can go ahead and mark the golden pocket like that. Now we can delete. This massive fib, and now we can come from here. Option F, bring this all the way from this local top. You drag to this local bottom. And look at this. We got the Fibonacci golden pocket right here on this previous support and resistance, which gives it a lot more weight. When you have multiple touch points, when you have multiple lines of confluence of not only signals, but previous price action, as well as Fibonacci's, as well as trend lines, that's when you get a very strong level. That's when you know, okay, this level, we need to watch this for likely price action, pause or strong breakthrough, and then flipping it to support. So now we have one more fib I want to do, and that's from this local high right here to this local bottom right here again. And this we can leave the fib on because there's not a lot of, now the chart's fairly clean, but we can see this level right here. And this level is at the basically 35 cent level. And you can see where all these lines are. You can see the price points here on the right. So what I'm seeing right now with Algo, it's still also in a very sort of bullish sort of narrative, but we can come here, look at the indicators. But it's also, all these are kind of in a holding pattern with what's going on with Bitcoin and the Fed, the FOMC next week. So that's what we want to watch. But this is looking, again, I'm on the 3-day. This looks like it was very overheated coming into this. Let's go down. This was a macro. Let's go down to the 4-hour, and we can see finding resistance on this trend line. We have bearish RSI, bearish RSI, and bearish, I think, money flow divergence here. This is starting to push its way into the the EMA ribbon, but it's also finding this level, previous level of price action support and resistance right here. Price action is getting squeezed right into here. So, but we're not getting much bullish signs. We got a little bit of a dip out of the relative extrema here, saying that this was this move was too far. It's going to come back. It's exactly what it did. But we're not getting a blue floor here. This is very indifferent with this gray area on the significant movement. So what I'm looking for right now really is on the hidden volume here on this move on Algorand. If we get another bearish div, I'm looking for a pullback, and on that pullback, how do we find what the pullback's going to be? How do we find another entry that may be a great entry? Well, what we do, let's go ahead and mute that chart. The indicator. I'm going to turn off auto. We're going to bring this up on the screen. What we do to find that pullback level, potential pullback, we go from the bottom this time, this local bottom, up to this top right here. Pull this across, and we can see we have the 382, which is basically a level right here. We have also the golden pocket, which is really where we want to look. And this is kind of where I'd ladder a little bit of my entries so I can accumulate more on this small pullback. When it comes down to these targets, I kind of intermix my entries within these zones. And that's how you do it. Same thing. If we do, we could do one more. We'll do a super turbo chart. I saw algo. AVAX, let's do AVAX. Let's do AVAX. Binance. Okay, we've already done the macro and the midterm on all the other ones. These are all looking very similar. So what I'm going to do right here, just on the 4 hour, without doing anything else, check this out. We just come here on the chart, put our mouse right down here at the bottom, press Option F, or if you're on PC, Alt F, click. Now you drag this up to this top. And so the levels I'm looking at for a pullback on AVAX, if we're to come, would be to see, I would identify what support we have here at this 382. And then I would then look at, have some sort of really hopeful buys here set in this $13.50 to $13.76 sort of level. And again, this is not financial advice. This is just strategy. This is how you identify those levels. This is how you identify what the possibility is for if this does pull back. Now, if we come down on the 24-minute, we can see this has already found support on this 382. So if this comes down, if this loses this 382, very, very, very high likely that you're going to find targets, purchase entries here at this 1350 to 1374 range. And that, my friends, that's how you do quick technical analysis. You use those quick keys. Use those quick keys on TradingView. Option J for the horizontal array. Option T or Alt T. Option's the same as Alt if you're on PC or Mac. So Option T to draw your trend line immediately. Option F to get those Fibonacci so you can draw your extensions and your retraces so you can understand where likely targets are going to be if it pushes up, where you can take profits up at that 618 level, the golden pocket, that golden Fibonacci level. And on retraces, same thing. You draw from the bottom to the top, and you can see where the price action is likely going to pull back to, because price doesn't move in a straight line down or up. It very, very regularly finds that golden pocket, that's 0.618 level. So that's what I want you to look for. I want you to map things out on your charts. You can even, if you have, say you have 10 coins you're interested in, you have charts mapped, fine. Open up a secondary, if you see on my chart here, open up a secondary on my list here. And if you don't see this, you just drag this right under my list, this bar right here, drag this down, and you can press this plus symbol. You can put in a bunch of different coins, and then you can organize them however you want them by just clicking and dragging. But look how many different Bitcoin charts I have. I have some crazy charts. Check this out. I'm talking crazy. This is just possibilities. I did a possibility map years ago, basically back here in March of 2021, and I drew lines in all sort of different directions based on price action back here, and I just use it to see likely where price would go. And look at this, it's falling right within these channels. I don't trade using this, but it was just like a bored Saturday. I wanted to see the craziest chart I can make, like an axe murderer, like make this and see where, if price actually followed these levels into the future, and they have. And then I have other charts. I have other different options, other things I can look at that I map out in different ways at different time frames. Of course, looks crazy when it's zoomed in, but it's broken down. The point here is have multiple charts for each asset you're doing and draw them in different ways, map them in different ways, remap them, use different tools, use different indicators, set up across the top your time frames, set up across the top your different indicator packages, your different settings. You see how I have this very quickly? All that's in these the various videos I have here in the channel. So make sure you check those out, and make sure you head over to, if you're not watching this on the BitLab Academy YouTube, come check us out at BitLab Academy. Check out the various different videos in here. Up your game. Bridge yourself from beginner to pro. My name has been Kelly Kellam. It always is Kelly Kellam. Much love, respect to all you. We got to go check out all the news over at BitBoy Crypto now. Make sure you give me a follow. Follow all these socials down here, all the way down here, and have a wonderful, wonderful day. And just stay positive. Remap things out. Take a concerted effort approach into data. You're going to make it. Big love to everybody. Have a wonderful day. Over and out. I will see you in the next video. Adios. Adios, muchachos. Thank you for watching. Got to get some news now and trade on that data. Goodbye, everybody.